If you tuned into the last episode, I expressed that I think horse need more representation in anime, because without horse, a lot of you would not be born. And when I say horse, just know that I'm referring to whores. Gangsta stands out as being one of the few anime that don't flood you with underage waifu. Can I go on a tangent here? What is the one thing that is dumber and slower than a woman? Two women. Just kidding, but what's the goofiest, most stupid version of a man or woman you can get? A child, right? They're just full-on incompetent. They talk about shit that doesn't matter, they're stubby and uncoordinated, they got big-ass meaty heads just full of meat and dumbass thoughts. So tell me why TV shows do this thing where they take a perfectly fine, entertaining show and fill it with kids. Nobody likes that. I watch Ninja Warrior to watch people climb things, not climb things slow. Not even kids enjoy this. Kids Bop, Mythbusters Jr., Chop Jr. Kids are just objectively less cool than adults. Anime. Anime almost exclusively takes place in high school. There is almost nothing cool about high school, except for experimenting with drugs and having sex in like really risky public spaces. When I was a kid, I wanted to be like Dante. What kind of future incel wants to be like Kirito? It's just appealing to demographics, you get the deal. Why am I talking about Gangsta? Well, it kind of stands out by not being about a timid, lanky teen. If you're interested in the more adult side of anime and you've seen a lot of the more mainstream stuff, Gangsta might be right up your alley. It's about two problem solvers called the Handymen and takes place in Italy, America, I don't know, but the ethnic background is pretty interesting because it contains the mythical, "Ooh, black people, ooh, it's a Michael B. Jordan." Anyway, because of a war a couple decades ago, people started taking a drug called Celebrare to enhance their physical abilities. Their children inherit those same abilities and are eventually subjected to slavery and forced to become mercenaries called Twilight. One of these Twilights is a cool deaf guy called Nicholas and his non-Twilight partner, Warwick. That's the premise. So what's cool about this one? Characters, action, and vibes, which entails the music, not really the art and the setting. I think the main reason that I remember this random anime from 2015 is really because of said vibes. It takes place in a realistic land filled with hookers and drugs and stuff, so it's pretty interesting seeing people act how people do and watching guns go hurrah, bing, ba, ba.
Hey yo Terry, fuck going on?
That's right, this anime's dicks out with gun violence, and speaking of violence, that's really well done too. As I said earlier, their Twilights are essentially superhuman, so you watch them go at each other's throats with swords and all sorts of weapons, and even see how humans team up to beat the Twilights by outsmarting them. Now, does every fight look gorgeous 100% of the time? No. Beside Demon Slayer and Mob Psycho, a lot of the frames in this show look like my old Patreon drawings, but I still thought the action looked pretty neat and was definitely entertaining, complemented by hip-hop or even dubstep surprisingly. Story-wise, pretty intriguing. If you vibe with detective stuff, they're not really detectives, but same energy. Or if you vibe with 91 Days, you're gonna be attracted to this anime also. Anyway, we're just shit out into the story with no context to slowly piece together the lore while getting to know the main characters, Nick and Warwick. They may allude to something that happened in their past, or maybe even another character, and you actually get answers. I enjoyed mobbing around with these guys, getting insight on how the mafia works, hooker dynamics, and all that. Also, the characters themselves are tight as frog vagina. Warwick is calm, collected, voiced by Dandy, and actually has sex. Nick is deaf, strong, and minds his business. So I actually cared about their backstory and how their friendship came to be. If you're looking for an intense emotional roller coaster filled with intricately woven plot twists and super emotional moments, fuck off. What you're getting here is a real chill ride that you can sit down, relax, and be entertained by. On the production side of things, the music sounded a little too good at times, so while I was getting the music for the video, I noticed that the entire soundtrack is produced by Suchi, who produced an entire album on Samurai Champloo. And there's like 2 jazz songs that slapped and reminded me of something off the Boondocks or Jill Scott Heron for some reason. If we mosey on over to localization, I actually prefer the dub. That's how I rewatched it. It's generally pretty dope.
Is that a fucking samurai sword? And I'll add another gaping hole between your thighs.
Until this motherfucker speaks.
Sounds like Tina.
So in closing, if you're out of things to watch and need a solid B-tier anime to keep yourself entertained, Gangsta is the perfect anime. Except for the cuckold ending, because this anime comes from the now extinct studio, Manglobe, which has some crazy anime under their belt like Ergo Proxy and Samurai Champloo. The final episode aired on September 27th, so I looked up when the studio claimed bankruptcy and, oh, September 29th. I think this anime would be way more popular if it hadn't ended right at the peak of its story, but whatever. Check it out, 2 to 3 episodes, bing, bah, bah. That should be enough to tell you if you like. And if you feel a gap due to the sudden ending, the manga's ongoing. See you next week, unless I don't. See ya.